we're gonna capture the behind the scenes stuff, like the mess ups, the stuff that kind of frustrates us and make us get through the adversity or the uncomfortable feelings, so we can put that on a platform to help other aspiring entrepreneurs understand that this is not easy. This is something that you got to really, really consider. This is it's for the tough skin. It's not for the weak. What's up, everybody? Johnston Jennings here.
And Liliana Fidua.
With another episode of the Illuminary Panel. We're extremely excited to have this luminary on this episode of the Illuminary Panel. He's going to be super impactful with what he has to say, and we're excited to have him.
Before we get started, make sure you guys follow us on all social media platforms at Luminary Panel. We would love if you like, comment, and share this video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and so you don't miss a beat as we continuously grow.
Yes, sir. Without further ado, Mr. Sean Player, let's admit him in.
All right.
What's up, Sean?
Hey.
How you feeling, man?
Feeling good. How you guys?
Doing well.
We're
man.
amazing. We're excited for this today.
We're extremely grateful for your presence, man. We're excited that you're excited to have yourself on the panel, and also you being our first actual interview. So we're super excited. We're super grateful. Just tell the audience just a little bit about yourself and what you do and your background.
Okay, perfect. First, I want to thank you guys for having me on this amazing podcast. I'm truly excited to be here with you all. I'm Sean Player. Yes, that's my real last name. So
it's amazing.
It's amazing, right? I came out, they spun the wheel, and there it was. So, but I'm originally from South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. And so, man, 5 years ago, I decided to take a leap of faith and move here to Central Florida, where I reside now, in Orlando. Just a leap of faith, just believing God that something better was out there for me. And so here I am. I'm a husband, a father, a man of faith, an entrepreneur at heart. I love helping people. I love seeing people become the best version of themselves. And that's who I am today.
That's amazing. So as you just mentioned, you're originally from South Carolina. Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up there?
Oh, man. Fried chicken, fat bag. No,
sounds great.
Hey, listen.
Collard greens. No, man. No. Growing up in South Carolina really gave me the foundation of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up with morals, values, and principles, growing up with that close-knit family, the close-knit support, just growing up where everybody knows you. It's a small community, it's a small town, but with a big heart and a big mission. And so growing up there was fun. I mean, I was a huge wrestling fan.
Who's your
Still
favorite
am
wrestler?
currently. My favorite wrestler is still Triple H is my favorite wrestler.
Man,
Triple H, The Rock.
Mine is John Cena, Randy Orton,
okay,
Edge, The Big Show.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. So you from that the younger generation.
I guess so.
I go back to Ric Flair, things like that. But growing up there, man, just gave me a sense of a good start, a good foundation, being able to discover who I am. And I was like, man, it's got to be more than this, because outside of all that, there was still like no opportunities. It's just a small town. Everybody's stuck in the rat race doing the same thing. And I always said it has to be more than this.
I love that. So you also mentioned about your faith and how profound it's been on this journey. You had to take a leap of faith to get to Orlando. How has your faith influenced your way in entrepreneurship?
My faith, man, is something that deeply grounded, deeply rooted in me. I believe, like I said, we mentioned earlier, we talked. I truly believe that entrepreneurship is your birthright. If we were to walk the scriptures and to see how, God placed a man in the garden, and he told him to, have dominion over that garden. He told him, you get to name everything in that garden. I mean, that was very basic business principles. He said, I'm placing you in a place, I'm placing you in an area so that you can have dominion over that area. So I believe that, that just catapults and spills into, who we are as people. We are in different regions, different backgrounds, but he's placed us in a certain place, in a certain place in time, to have dominion over the area where we are. So faith has just moved me, because entrepreneurship isn't easy. It's not no cakewalk. I
No.
mean, you're going to get lied on. You're going to be
Mhm.
having sleepless nights. You're going to cry. You're going to find out who your real friends are. You're going to find out who's really in your corner. So it's a faith journey. Entrepreneurship is totally 100% spiritual. So
I love that answer.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like I've never heard it described in that way, but it makes so much sense because you are embarking on this journey that, nobody can completely follow with you because you just have to kind of go with it. So I think
yeah.
that's absolutely amazing. And kind of going off of that, what habits have you personally developed that you think have kind of contributed to your success as well? Whether that be waking up early, meditation, things of that nature, something like that. What has worked for you?
It's funny that you would ask that question, because I'm still a student of learning. I'm still trying to get those habits. I'm not going to lie to you, but I would say if I had to pick one habit that's helped me along the journey, it's personal development.
Mhm.
Because the person I was 5 years ago won't be the person that's going to get me to this next place where I'm trying to go. So personal development is a key, to unlocking your true potential. So personal development to me is the catalyst to waking up early,
Mhm.
working out, changing your eating habits, reading. Man, if I may, I'm like, man, everything that I was totally against. I'm looking back, in hindsight, like, wow, those were the very things that I needed on
Mhm.
this journey.
And that
Sometimes,
goes back. That goes
yeah.
back to you being raised in South Carolina, because again, like you said, it was a rat race. So a lot of people didn't encourage you to do those things. I was in a
Nope.
similar situation. My friends, family, like, why are you reading? Like, because I'm trying to be better than you. Like, not to be like a butthole, but that's
Yeah, yeah.
ultimately because if we stuck, like again, like you said, if we stay in the same environment, how do we change? The snake only
Absolutely.
grows as big as the tank. So the tank is bigger. Orlando's bigger for you now. You've grown as much as you can. So why have you
Absolutely.
chose financial education out of all the other things that you decided
So
to do?
I moved here. So okay, let's back up. So my first taste of entrepreneurship was, I was 15 years old, and I was
Mhm.
like, man, Dad, I want my own money, want my own
Mhm.
money. So they was like, everybody that I knew, they said, what, go get a job, so go to school, get a good education, that type of thing like that. So I went to the local grocery store, and they told me I was too young to apply. And I said, you know what? That'll be the last time someone controls my financial future. Someone controls my
Mm.
destiny. And
Wow.
so it was birthed in me at that moment to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
And the funny thing is, when I was 18, I told my dad about a business name that I had. That's the
Mhm.
same business name that he had when he was 18.
That's
So,
crazy.
so, so see, nothing happens just by coincidence, right?
Mhm.
And so, to answer your question, um, there is times where, man, you look around and you're like, man, what's really going to give me, the benefit? What's really going to give me a hand up instead of a hand down, right?
Mhm.
So financial literacy, financial service, when you look at it, it's the number one. If you Google, it's the number one industry that's most likely to make you a millionaire. Now, a lot of people
Mm.
are like, well, Sean, I don't want to be a millionaire, but money's right up there with oxygen. So
Right.
we
I
all
heard that
need it.
one from was that
We
Les
need
Brown that said that?
Yeah, yeah, Les Brown. Money's right up there with oxygen. So financial services actually found me, really, honestly. So I specialize in the sector of life insurance. That's the
Mhm.
niche that I'm in. I'm in life insurance, annuities, debt settlement, retirement strategies, and things like that. But it actually found me because 3 years prior to this, I was in network marketing companies and things like that. That's kind of how I got a hold on entrepreneurship. I'm like, man, why didn't no one tell me after high school? Because I would have did that right out of high school.
Right.
No
Mhm.
knock to people that went to college and things like that, but that was never me. You know,
Mhm.
but so it found me. My mom passed 3 years ago with ovarian cancer,
I'm sorry to hear
and
that,
so I
man.
was on the other side of having someone in my family that did not have a structured life insurance policy. My dad actually had a policy on my mom, 2 years prior to that, but he switched it, not knowing that she would eventually get sick, right?
Mm,
And so, yeah, so I was on the other side of that. So it actually found me. And so that's my story, trying to help more people be aware, especially, individuals that look like us, our community, to understand the importance of financial education, financial literacy. And it's not what they teach you in school, it's not
right.
please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, all that. That's
Yeah.
not financial literacy. It's
I
fine.
ain't understand it. I ain't even know a Sally. Who is Sally?
Who's
I think my
Sally?
auntie
Think
named
about
We
who's
don't
Sally?
know. We'll never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So it found me, to answer your question. It found me.
nice.
So, kind of going off your passion for financial education, can you tell our listeners what you believe was the key to your personal success in this industry?
That's a good question.
Being coachable. Being
Mhm.
coachable. You know, I told you when I was 15, 16, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. But had I had a mentor at 16, I probably wouldn't have to go through the pitfalls, the do-it-yourselves, the learning. I would probably would have had somebody to kind of guide me step by step. So what's helping me in my success now is being coachable, aligned to the right mentor, and in the right system, in the right platform.
I
Right.
love that because I feel like kind of where I am in my personal career, I'm trying to, seek out those coaches, find those mentors, develop the career. So I feel like that's such great advice, especially to the people listening to this, because it is so important and it's going to help you a ton in the future. So I love that.
I agree to both of your points because a lot of people, okay, here's two things to why a lot of people don't succeed in entrepreneurship. Is one, I feel like people get to a point where they get a little bit of money, or whatever the case is, they see some success, and then they get complacent and then they go downhill. And then there's others that don't know how to necessarily cope with not getting to where they want to be, or their goals were written down and they thought they were supposed to be at a certain point. So, Sean, I want to ask you this. How did you cope with the feeling of not accomplishing something, being in a certain place that you originally thought you would have reached by now? Or are you at that place in your life and as a professional?
So to answer that question, it was why I moved to Orlando. I was 30 years old. I hit the wall and I was like, this probably sounds funny, right? 30 years old. I felt like I had a midlife crisis, like, oh my God,
Good,
you
you had
know,
it early. That's okay.
you
You're
Before the
accomplished.
twins,
yeah,
too.
yeah. So
There you go.
when you're young, you people tell you, man, time's gonna go by like that. You're gonna be 30, right? I was like, nah, we got time. We got time. I'm gonna party, I'm gonna do everything, right? And I hit 30. And I was like, my God, what am I going to do? Everything that I thought I would have accomplished, I've done zero, none of that.
Right, right.
So I was like, I know what this chapter looks like. I know if I stay here, I'm going to have family, all that stuff like that. I'm going to have those things, but that's not the legacy that I want to leave my future kids at that time,
Mhm.
right? So I'm like, man, it's got to be more. So I leave South Carolina. This sounds like a biblical story. Like I leave, everybody. I leave them all. Left everybody there. Came down in my car with stuff everywhere. That's it. Didn't know where I was gonna live. Didn't know any of that. None of that. I found that out when I got here. But to answer your question, it's just been faith throughout that journey, right? To believe that there's more for me to do. Now I'm not where I want to be. I'm not, how I see it right now. But I believe that I'm in the right platform, the right season to achieve everything that God has for me to do.
I love that,
No,
man.
yeah,
I
that's
love
great.
that.
And kind of going off that too, what do you think your biggest challenge has been in this business, and how did you personally overcome that?
My biggest challenge has been me, and that's the key. Been me all along, right? Learning about myself. This particular industry exposed we like to say in the industry, it enhances who you are, but it show you your weaknesses, right? So it
Mm,
showed me every weakness. It showed me that I'm not as good of a reader as I thought I was. Sometimes you just skim through the pages to get what you want, right?
right.
But
We
I'm
all
not.
do it.
Yeah. So it showed me my weaknesses, but it's enhancing my strengths, right? It's showing me where I am and it's showing me where I want to be. So I would say the biggest challenge has been me and reversing those bad habits of years of not being in the right environments. Yeah. Yeah.
So I gotta know, I know you talked about reading as well, but what is like your favorite book of all time that you would recommend for our listeners?
So, so I'm becoming an avid reader. I will not sit here in front of you all. I mean, I used to think reading is for those dorks, right? Like, why would I read? Why would I read? But now, one of my favorite books is it's by Eric Worre. It's called GoPro. That book has
Interesting.
helped me to understand how to network with people
Mhm.
because everything is about networking. They say, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard, your network is your net worth,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
And if you show me your 5 friends, if they're all broke and disgusted, then you're gonna be the same way, right? So it's helped me to kind of, you know, reprogram my negative thinking that's
Mhm.
kind of been passed down through generations without me even knowing. And so it's helped me to learn how to network, how to talk to people, how to build a business.
I love
That's
that. So
amazing.
because reading wasn't your first language, I should say, and there's something that you were uncomfortable with in the beginning, and you figured out to at least try it. Were there other things as far as entrepreneurship opportunities that you tried first that you didn't necessarily have passion for, or was it as easy for you? Because for me, for example, before I started the Luminary panel, I was a NBA trainer. I was working with all the pros, Aaron Gordon and Antonio Blakeney, but I wasn't fulfilled in the space. But once I was able to meet people like yourself and Liliana and the other people that I'm connecting with, it made me feel good because I know I had an impact. So what were some of the things, if you did do anything, but what were some of the things that you tried and you was like, I'm not feeling that, and then you found your passion in financial literacy?
Right. So I've tried everything. I think every entrepreneur could say they tried everything. I mean, I would sell soap to, to
That's
a person
different.
on the
I ain't
street.
gonna.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've tried everything. I've been involved in network marketing, and I mean, it has a stigma about it, but network
Mhm,
marketing is really a principle that I believe should have been taught to us in school.
mhm,
It's personal development. That whole thing is about personal development because you cannot be who you want to be without first developing yourself. So I've tried my own business. I started a Christian lounge in South Carolina. We
oh,
did that
nice.
for a while.
That's
I just
awesome.
didn't have the resources to keep it going, so we
Mhm,
did that. So that's something that I still want to do. I tried that. I tried several network marketing ventures. Along the way, I've gained relationships that these people are closer to me than my own family.
right. Mhm,
It's the relationships that I've gained. The what's it? The influential people that I've met through these different ventures, and I can have them in my cell phone. I can talk to them, different things like that. The coaching and the mentor, I would not trade for anything. So, I would tell anybody out there listening, like if they want to be an entrepreneur, or if they feel like they have a desire to be an entrepreneur, just be prepared that it's not an overnight thing.
right.
You can still keep
That's
your
huge.
job. That's one thing that I messed up. I was like, I'm done with this job. I'm going out. I got my own business.
Right.
Mhm.
Craziest thing to do, right? Keep
Mhm,
your job, still work your vision, keep your job, still work your vision, and over time, you'll start to be able to replace your 9 to 5 with a sustainable income that's can sustain you forever. So, yeah, I would definitely tell anybody that's thinking about going down that route, don't be caught up to think that it's going to happen overnight. The
mhm,
Instagram people done fooled us. The
mhm.
They do.
Snap
They get us every time.
got us
Instagram,
fooled.
TikTok, they're
Got
just
us
showing a
fooled.
perfect life, but
Yeah,
there are hard things behind, those
yeah,
closed stores that everyone's doing and hustling and going to networking events and, working on all these side jobs and doing everything just to keep themselves afloat. So I feel like that's a huge thing to kind of add to that as well, to look behind those curtains and see what's
yep,
actually going on behind there.
absolutely, absolutely.
And that's gonna be our the biggest thing that's gonna separate us from normal podcasts, because even with podcasts, you see if it's video form, you're gonna see the glitz and glamour, you're gonna see the biggest stars that they have in Orlando, but we're gonna capture the behind the scenes stuff, like the mess ups, the stuff that kind of frustrates us and make us get through the adversity or the uncomfortable feelings, so we can put that on a platform to help other aspiring entrepreneurs understand that this is not easy. This is something that you got to really, really consider. If this is, it's for the tough skin. It's not for the weak, as you would say. Right.
Absolutely, absolutely,
So let me
absolutely.
ask you this, right? To kind of piggyback off that, um, before you started the entrepreneurship journey, what would you say the biggest thing would be that held you back? And did you have a genuine support system once you told yourself, yes, I'm ready to do this, and then you started to tell the people in your inner circle, like, this is my plans, what do you think I should do? Did you have a genuine support system?
I did. I honestly believe that my dad would have supported me if I told him I was going to sell pounds and pounds of weed or coke or something like that,
That's
right?
funny.
You need someone that dedicated. There you go.
My dad would support me in anything legal. It might be illegal, I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's how much he would support me. So I went and told my dad. I told my mom. She was happy for me, but she was like, I don't know. You need to go to school, go to college, and all this stuff, right? So I would say the thing that stopped me was number one, not having someone, a mentor. I
Mhm,
really strongly believe that, because my dad could only take me as far as he went, right?
mhm,
So, and he can only show me the things that he knew. So, a mentor, finances, and that's probably the only two. Mentor and finances is probably the thing that made me go on that roller coaster ride. But I don't regret it because now eventually I'll be in a place to where I can show my kids, show my three girls, that hey, because people get a stigma about entrepreneurs that we're just
mhm,
totally against jobs and college and stuff like that. We're not. We just know that it's a better way.
mhm,
It's just a better way. It's not easy, but it's a hard, better way. So you have to choose your heart, like they say. So now I'll be able to show my girls something to where hey, if you don't want to go the status quo route, if you don't want to go that
mhm.
route, there is another alternative. There was no one in my family until I voiced that. I had
Right.
no idea that my dad had that entrepreneur gene in him. So yeah, so I would
Let me
say
ask you this.
coaching.
Oh,
Yeah, go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead, finish. Oh, so if this is just me thinking broadly, I love to play devil's advocate with my guests. I actually did this with my team as well, just to see where their head was. So let's say your dad was wholeheartedly opposed to the idea of you taking a risk to move to Orlando, finding your journey, your entrepreneurship journey. How would you uh answer, or how would you react to that type of you
It's
know
interesting that you say that because my mom and my dad was really opposed to me coming here.
oh
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Yeah, that's probably the only time there was some type of resistance, right? Because
Mhm,
why? Because he was so comfortable with me being there. My family was so comfortable with me being around them, to where it's like they wanted me to go, but then they wanted me to stay, right?
mhm,
My girlfriend at the time, which is now my wife, she told me, she said, "Hey, Sean, if this is something you really want to do, it doesn't matter who's going to be with you, who's going to support you, who's going to be in your corner. It really doesn't matter because at the end of the day, when I get to heaven, I'm gonna have to look God in the face, and He's gonna look me back and say, "Hey, man, I gave you so much to do. What did you
mhm,
do with it?" So it took some time for me to get to that place though,
mhm,
because I was like, man, and then you start to, you know, realize, man, sell me on your life. I
mhm,
love my family, but none of them have a substantial amount of savings in their bank account.
mhm.
None of them have done great things outside of just great memories. And I was like, I love you, but I don't want to end up like you.
Right.
And that was a
Mhm,
hard place to be. And
mhm.
sometimes people get caught up because that's their family, that's their friend, that's their loved one, or the person they've been with for all this time. But you cannot let anyone stop you from something that is on the inside of you to do.
Right. So I feel like I can speak for myself because I have friends that I had different kinds of businesses. I started a clothing brand. I wanted to do a radio show. I wanted to do uh, t-shirt manufacturing thing. I had a whole bunch of ideas, but again, to piggyback on what I said earlier, this is the thing that I found my passion in and my fulfillment in. So I know what it mean. I know what you mean by having that genuine support system, because those are the people that you look towards for that rooting. Like, yeah, do it, do better for yourself, do something that's gonna fulfill your legacy and grow. So I know how tough it was. So I got another question to kind of piggyback off of that. Um, So what steps did you have to take to actually move forward to making the move?
Oof, man. So I had to make a decision that this is it, right?
Mhm.
I'm 30. I know what this chapter is going to be like. I know the people here. I know what it's going to look like. My life probably would mirror their life, but because God has, blessed me and blessed my family and those that are attached to me, it may not be that bad. But I was like, well, you know what? If I leave, I always got a place to come back because I didn't burn any bridges. So if it doesn't
Mhm.
work out, I can always come back, right? So I had that premise in mind that if it didn't work out, I can always come back. But I decided to make a decision. Once I made that decision, a friend of a friend was on Facebook with a post with Westgate, right? So Westgate is how I found my way into Florida. So I was doing
Mm.
timeshare. So a friend of a friend posted something and said, "Hey, we're hiring," right? And I was like, "Wow, this has to be this has to be God, right?" So I reach out to that friend. She tells me what to do. Um, and all kind of stuff just broke loose at that point, right? There was no play at that time. They had a Hurricane Irma was here or something like that, right? So everybody from Puerto Rico ended up coming over here to Orlando. So there was no housing, right? There was nothing available. I come down, take a look at things, and I'm like, man, I can't find what I want. I'm telling my fiance at the time, like, I can't find nothing. She's like, well, go back to the place that you saw before, right? So I go back. The lady cuts my deposit in half, $75
Mm.
deposit, right?
That's
I'm in the
God.
door. She
Mhm.
waves she waves the credit check because my credit was sketchy. She she
Oh
You
my
did say
goodness.
credit,
something about
credit was
illegal activity.
credit was sketchy. So she waives that, right? So they didn't even look at that. They didn't even look at my credit. She got me in for $75. It came time to, put utilities and stuff in my name. Orlando has this really cool thing called the Power Pass. So that was cool. They didn't have to look
Mm.
up anything about that. It's pay as you go. So that was cool. It's through OUC. So I'm gonna give a shout out to OUC. So,
You see,
yeah,
we need the
yeah,
CEO
well,
in
you
there
see,
next.
they be looking out. They be looking out. So all those stuff fell into place just for me to be here, And so why wouldn't I continue down that journey? Because all those, and then a pastor of mine, she at that time the pastor that I was affiliated with their church, she paid what she paid. She paid $100 or something like I needed. My current pastor, he paid my first month rent just for me to get
Mm.
here.
Wow.
Yeah, $900 paid my first month rent just for me to be here. So but I would say I had to make a decision that this is something that I wholeheartedly wanted to do. I made a decision, and then things just kind of fell into place.
That's awesome.
Wow. That's incredible. So, for all the entrepreneurs that are scared to kind of take that leap of faith, what advice would you give to them? Because I know a lot of people are, very scared to take that first step, like we've talked about. What would you tell
Yeah.
them to do to just go for it?
To just start. That's it. Start. You have to start. And it doesn't have to look like what you think it's going to look like, what the next person looks like, because we don't know the in-between story. We don't know the true personal development that person had to go through to get rid of those years of bad habits and become that diamond that you're seeing. So I would say start, invest if there's an upfront cost, invest the upfront cost. If you have to surround yourself around people that's better than you, find your way into those rooms, but you have to start. You have to start.
So, kind of going off that too, because I know some people are just very timid before even starting there. How
Mhm.
would you tell them to, or the steps to kind of build up that confidence when they're starting to feel lost? Because I know you can start and then you hit a wall. How would
Yeah,
you kind of tell them to push through that wall, even when, people are telling you you can't do it anymore, or you're feeling self doubt and things of that nature too?
That's a really
right,
good
right.
question. I think
That is a
I
really
think
good
you will
question.
attest to this, Sean. I think
Hmm.
for me, when I had that, I think me going to networking events that kind
Hmm.
of sparked the. But I'll let you. That was a good question, Liliana.
So that's a really good question. I would say every true entrepreneur is not afraid of risk. They will
Mm.
Mm.
risk it all. Like I risk my relationship sometimes to do what I know I'm supposed to be doing, So I think at the core of every entrepreneur is the fact that they aren't afraid of risk.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So that risk will push you past the feeling of not saying you won't have that feeling of, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'm good enough. Man, nobody's in my family's doing this. My friends, what are they going to say about me? Not saying like all that's going to be there, but
Mhm.
I think that drive from the inside, that risk, is going to push you out there. The moment where you're just fed up, you're just tired of just being average, or you know that there's something more for you to do. You're tired of just going through the day in and day out routine, and you're like, man, I'm stuck in the matrix. There's got to be something more than this, right? So I think
Mhm.
that would drive somebody past that, and then once you get outside that door, be prepared because your neighbor, your mama, your daddy, your friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, teacher, whoever, they all gonna come at you with, "Why are you doing that little thing?" Or "How's that
Mhm.
little business going?"
Little is annoying. I ain't
Yeah,
gonna
Got
lie.
all
yeah,
those people.
yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
But
Wow.
man, I want to say, I saw you doing your thing, man. I followed you from far. You're networking, man. This I would say, man, your generation is just as blessed to have like so many things accessible to you at this time. You guys are living in the best time. Yeah, man. Yeah.
We appreciate
We're
that
definitely,
sincerely, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're definitely connected. And kind of with that too, everyone who's listening to this, now you've seen all of us here, the Luminary panel and Sean, we're here for you. Reach out to us too if you ever hit that wall, because we're here. We can help you through it as well. And kind of going off that, this is a question we will always ask our guests because it's our main mission to serve. In your opinion, how can we improve the Luminary panel?
Man, it's been fantastic to me so far. I couldn't have anything.
Hey, you know what? We can always
Hey,
improve personal
Yeah,
development,
so
right?
let's see. So there's always room for improvement. I think you guys, man, you guys are gonna outgrow this space right here. It's not even gonna be long. It's probably be like I give you October, November at the latest, and then you'll be into your own little studio space, man. I can see you guys doing great things, man. So I don't have I'm biased right now. I really love the panel. I love it.
You're great.
Perfect. That's all we need to know. That's the only thing going on
You guys,
promotion.
you took care.
Sean
You took
said
care
we
of
don't
me.
need nothing
Yeah,
else.
took care of me. I like smiling individuals. There's no negativity. Yeah, man, it's
We
good.
We're
love
trying to spread the positivity wherever we can go. Because obviously, in this space, there can be a lot of negative energy and negativity surrounding you by people who
Yeah,
don't believe in you and things of that nature. So we're trying to
it.
bring the light, bring the
yeah,
positivity back to this space, because obviously that's how we're all going to grow. We're all going to
yep,
continue, and we can
yeah.
empower each other to do that too. So
And I
definitely.
mean, unfortunately, entrepreneurs can become crab in the bucket mentality. They finally find that niche, and they don't want to show you that niche. They don't want to
Exactly.
they don't want to show you how to get the hand up. So my kudos to you guys for having a platform like this to where we can talk about these things.
Right. Well, we appreciate you, man. Tell the audience where they can find you so they can reach out if they need help or anything.
So I'm on LinkedIn. That's currently the only thing that I'm on right now is
Oh
LinkedIn.
wow.
Yeah. My Facebook got hacked some time ago, so I haven't been back. But LinkedIn is my name, Sean Player. And you can hit me up there, and that's about it. Yeah.
Perfect. Well,
That's
that's
great.
Sean Player. I'm Chauncey Jennings and Liliana Fidewa. We had an incredible time at the Luminary panel. Make sure you follow us. I'm taking Liliana's job right now because it's already in the flow. We had a structure where she just go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, well, for you guys out there, make sure you follow at Luminary Panel on all platforms and tag 2 friends that you think that this content will be helpful for, because we want to grow this community. We want to share great kind of content to you guys from the industry professionals directly to you. So we hope that you guys can share this with people who you think this could help as well.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
again, Sean said we don't need nothing else because this is the best platform out there. Yeah, yeah.
We got it. We got it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if anyone needs any type of help, free consultations on me is no charge. We'll help
Perfect.
you out. Yeah, we'll help you out.
You
We
heard it
might
from
have
him
to
himself. So
exactly.
there
We
you
might have to
go.
do a whole
No more
workshop.
no more GoFundMe. No more GoFundMe.
Nope. Well,
We
thanks
love it.
again, Sean. We appreciate you sincerely. Oh,
Absolutely.
last question. Who would you want to see on the platform? We're gonna
I'm
reach
still
out
getting
and
it.
work on it.
Yeah, I'm still getting to know people in the area.
Hmm.
I mean, I tagged a good friend of mine
Caleb.
in your post. Caleb,
my
that's
guy.
a good guy. I know. Yeah, that's that. I'm still trying to learn people. I'm still, although I've been here 5 years, I'm still learning people. So yeah, still learning.
Okay, cool. We're gonna work on it. Caleb, Paul, you're on here next.
Look
We
at
love
Thanks
guys.
it.
again, man. We appreciate you.
Awesome,
Thank you
awesome,
so
awesome.
much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.